Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dean Rocky Duhungko, and this web lecture is about real property taxes, particularly for those who want to take the 2024 bar exam. But of course, as per usual, law students and future bar candidates can also benefit from this lecture. No? Applicable naman yan, parehong local government code lang ang tinitignan natin. So as mentioned, no, if you're already at this portion, wala na tayo sa tax code, guys. Ang real property tax provisions are located under the local government code, particularly sections 197 to 288 of the local government code of 1991. Talaga ba, Dean? Ganun kadami ang provisions? Yes. But for this particular lecture, we will only focus on the 2024 bar exam scope as contained in Bar Bulletin number 1, series of 2024. So yung mga nagpe-prepare para sa bar exam na 2024, this lecture is just for you. Bagay na bagay ito sa inyo. Alright? So if we look at the scope of real property taxation under the 2024 bar exam syllabus for tax, ano lang ang kasama? Fundamental principles, properties exempt from real property taxes. No? Actually, if you look at the 2022 Kagiwao bar and the 2023 Hernanduit bar, merong mga tanong on exemptions of government entities and the real property taxes that they own. So we have to look at the interplay between the inherent limitation concerning the exemption of government entities and the provisions of the LGC regarding exemption of certain real properties from real property tax. Okay? And then we will also look at the government's remedies. Ano ba itong assessment? And of course, as per usual also, we will look at the taxpayer's remedies. Ano ba yung administrative, judicial, pwede bang mag-refund or credit when it comes to real property taxes. Okay? So, going into the lecture proper, so we first look at the fundamental principles. So kanina, or in the other lecture, you can also watch the video for local government taxation, separate ang fundamental principles ng local taxation. Meron ding sariling principles ang real property taxes. Alright? So kanina kung naalala nyo dun sa kaninang video ng local taxation, collection lang ang ginogovern. No? Or collection lang ang hindi pwedeng ibigay or i-assign sa private persons. But look at this, guys. Under Section 198 of the Local Government Code, fundamental principles. I hope hawak nyo na naman ang inyong codal, ha? So, para makasunod kayo sa mga provisions na binabanggit natin sa lecture na ito. If you need to turn the page, just hit the pause button, turn to the page, the relevant page of your codal para makasunod kayo. Alright? So, let's look at section 198, the appraisal, assessment, levy, and collection. So, apat na aspeto na ngayon, hindi lang collection. Appraisal, assessment, levy, and collection of real property tax shall be guided by the following fundamental principles. Number 1, or letter A, real property shall be appraised at its current and fair market value. So later, no, in the next slide, we will look at how tax declarations are made and how it is updated and how it is mandated na dapat naka-reflect sa tax declaration ang current and fair market value of real properties, right? Next, letter B. Real property shall be classified for assessment purposes on the basis of its actual use. So, ang example ko dito lagi sa class na to, for example, usong-usong ngayon yung mga dating bahay, no? Tapos residential na bahay, tapos ginagawang restaurants, kino-convert into restaurants. So, ano ngayon ang magiging classification and assessment ng mga properties na ganon? Well, if you look at the description, maybe it's described as, or maybe it's classified as residential, but for real property classification and assessment purposes, it should be properly classified as commercial. Kasi ginawa na siyang restaurant. It's already used for business. So, the basis for real property classification and assessment should be its actual use, right? And then letter C, real property shall be assessed on the basis of a uniform classification within each local government unit. So similar to the principle that we discussed in the local government tax video, no, ang uniformity requirement is only required within each local government unit. Meaning, all real properties which are similarly classified should likewise be similarly assessed. So there should only be one rate for real properties that are similarly classified. Is classification prohibited? No, of course not. But remember the constitutional requirements for valid classification, right? So, kailangan may ganon. And the requirement for uniformity is only for each particular local government unit. If two local government units will tax real properties in different manners, will the uniformity requirement be violated? The answer is no, because each local government unit can not determine its own real property rates. It has its own power to generate its own sources of revenue. So kanya-kanya yan. What is required is that uniformity be had in each local government unit. Alright? And then, in letter D, ito na yung sinasabi natin, appraisal, assessment, levy, and collection of real property tax shall not be let to any private person. It is only the LGU and its personnel who has the power to make appraisals, assessments, the levy, and the collection of real property. Okay? And last but not the least, the appraisal and assessment of real property shall be equitable. So based on the ability to pay or the classification of the real properties. Okay? So, itong part na to guys, yung next part, yung next slide, well, wala siya sa syllabus. But nonetheless, this understanding section 202 on what is a tax declaration, what is its nature, no, will help us understand the subsequent sections that are contained in this video lecture. So, mahalagang maintindihan natin ano ba yung section 202 on tax declarations. What is a tax declaration, no? For those who own real property, alam nyo ito. This is actually maintained by the LGU. Ano ibig sabihin ng tax declaration? It shall be the duty of all persons, natural or juridical, owning or administering property. So, dito muna tayo sa owning or administering property. Previously, no, may bar exam question before, ang basis or yung pinaka-issue doon sa question is as to whether the LGU can also run after lessees when it comes to real property taxes. And the answer is yes. Because look at section 22. It's not just the owners who are obligated to prepare the tax declaration, but also those persons administering real property. Okay? So owners or administrators of real property shall what? Shall cause to prepare or shall prepare or cause to be prepared a sworn statement declaring the true value of the property. So itong tax declaration, ito yung sworn statement declaring the true value of the property. No? And what kind of properties are required to have a tax declaration? Whether previously declared or undeclared, taxable or exempt. So whether, kahit sabihin mo, ay, exempt naman yung property, it does not require a tax declaration. That is false. Because under section 202, whether the property is taxable or exempt, required siyang magkaroon ng tax declaration, right? And this tax declaration shall contain the current and fair market value of the property as determined by the declarant. So, how do we know or how do we maintain na current at fair market value ang naka-reflect dito sa tax declaration? Take note guys, the last portion. No? The sworn declaration of real property shall be filed with the assessor concerned once every 3 years. So So, ibig sabihin, nag-a-update dapat every 3 years yung tax deck to ensure na naka-reflect yung current and fair market value of the property. Okay? So, next, itong section na ito ay particularly mentioned in the 2024 bar syllabus. So, anong ibig sabihin or what are the properties that are exempt from real property taxes? This is contained under section 234 of the Local Government Code. The following are exempt from payment of real property taxes. Letter A, ito yung case ng LRTA at ng Philippine Heart Center, which we discussed under inherent limitations. Okay? Real property owned by the Republic of the Philippines or any of its political subdivisions. Pero may qualifier siya, except when the beneficial use thereof has been granted for consideration or otherwise. So, ibig sabihin, kahit may bayad o libre, as long as the beneficial use has been granted to a taxable person, hindi na exempt yung real property concerned. Right? So, this principle is illustrated in the cases of Philippine Heart Center and LRTA. Alright? So, ang tanong doon sa bar question, doon sa Kagiwaw bar, is as to whether the properties, is as to whether Philippine Heart Center is exempt from real property taxes. The answer is yes, dahil sa inherent limitation. Pero, no, assuming that Heart Center is correct in its contention that it is exempt from real property tax, can the local government run after the lessees or the concessionaires of the properties or merong mga pinaparenta sa kanila? The answer is yes. Similarly, in the case of Philippine Heart Center, sabi ng Supreme Court, the local government is left with no other recourse than to run after the private concessionaires who have been granted the beneficial use of the properties. Okay? Next, ito namang 234B is a reiteration of a constitutional provision or Article 6, Section 28, Paragraph 2. Paragraph 3 rather, sorry. Charitable institutions, churches, personages, or convents appurtenant thereto, mosques, non-profit or religious cemeteries, and all lands, buildings, and improvements actually directly and exclusively used for religious, charitable, or educational purposes. So, same na same doon sa nakasulat sa Constitution. Considering that this is also a constitutionally guaranteed exemption, can Congress amend this section 234 and remove paragraph B? The answer is of course no, because that exemption is constitutionally guaranteed and no law can contravene the Constitution, right? Next, pagsamahin na muna natin ang C at E, kasi pareho siyang machinery and equipment. Yung C, actually directly and exclusively used by local water districts and GOCCs engaged in the supply and distribution of water and or generation and transmission of electric power. Yung E naman, used for pollution control and environmental protection. Okay? So, as long as those machinery and equipment meet this criteria, they will be exempt from real property tax. But look at letter D. No? Peculiar siya kasi if you compare it to letter A, anong sabi sa D? All real property owned by duly registered cooperatives. There is no qualifier as to beneficial use. Diba? Yung letter A, owned by the Republic, and the Republic must also have the beneficial use para maging exempt from real property tax. But look at D. As long as it is owned by the cooperatives, duly registered cooperatives, exempt na siya, regardless of whether it's the cooperative that has the beneficial use or not. Correct? So yung D ownership lang ang required for cooperatives. Whereas in letter A kanina, both ownership and beneficial use must be with the Republic of the Philippines in order for the properties to be considered as exempt from real property taxes. Right? So let's go to a case, no, decided by the Supreme Court, Provincial Government of Cavite versus CQM Management. So ang tanong dito is who is actually liable for real property taxes? This is a 2020 case penned by Justice Imping. No? An owner of real property is not liable for real property taxes that accrued prior to the acquisition of the real property. Why? Because unpaid real property taxes attached to the real property and is chargeable only against the taxable person who had actual or beneficial use and or possession of it, regardless of whether or not he is the owner. Di ba sabi natin kanina, kaya kailangan natin yung Section 202 kasi it requires the owner or administrator to make the tax debt. So hindi lang owner ang pwedeng maging liable for the real property taxes. No? As respondent CQM management was not yet the owner of the entity with the actual or beneficial use of the buildings during the years for which Cavite sought to collect real property taxes, CQM cannot be held liable for such real property taxes. Sabi ng Supreme Court, to impose the real property taxes on CQM, which was neither the owner nor the beneficial user of the buildings during the period subject of the taxes, would not only be contrary to law, but also unjust. So, hindi dapat si CQM ang magbayad. Eh din, paano kung halimbawa nung binili ni CQM yung property, merong provision doon sa deed of absolute sale na siya ang mag-shoulder nung back taxes. Paano kung ganon? Sinagot din yan ng Supreme Court. Sabi ng Supreme Court, not even a stipulation in the deed of assignment of real property that the transferor is selling, assigning, conveying in favor of CQM all rights, titles, obligations, benefits, and interests in the building will make CQM liable for the real property taxes. Kasi yung pag-assume ng liability is only contractual. The contractual assumption of tax liability must be supplemented by an interest that the party assuming the liability had on the property. The person from whom payment is sought must also have acquired the beneficial use of the property lang. In other words, he must have use and possession of the property. Remember, impact and incidents. So kahit na nag-agree doon sa deed of absolute sale na si buyer ang mag-shoulder, no, that is only contractual. Sino pa rin ang dapat habulin ni provincial government? It's still the seller, the one who had actual or beneficial use or possession of the property when the real property taxes accrued, right? So that's the case of Provincial Government of Cavite versus CQM Management. No? So next, when is the period for the collection of real property taxes? And this is counted from when? No? Teka lang din, when is an assessment made? Bakit nasa collection na tayo agad? No? Siguro to refresh your memory or knowledge, guys. Remember that an assessment, while sa studies natin, we generally use it for deficiency tax assessments, right? But if you must remember, an assessment is actually a general term pertaining to the mode or manner of determining a person's tax liability, right? So maraming klase ng assessment. Self-assessment, yung government ng assessment, assessment ng government rather, deficiency tax assessment, naked assessment, jeopardy assessment, maraming assessment. But all these assessments pertain to the manner of determining a person's tax liability, di ba? So what do we mean when we say tax assessment? Like for example, when we prepare our tax returns para sa BIR, that is actually a self-assessment. Bakit? When we computed for our taxes, when we filled up the tax return or the BIR tax returns, when we went to the bank or the BIR to pay the assessment, did the government intervene in any way in all those processes? No, di ba? Hindi tayo pinakailamanan ng government. Tayo ang nag-assess magkano ang babayaran nating tax. So that is actually what we call self-assessment. Tapos kung yung mga inaaral na natin under tax remedies, those pertain to deficiency tax assessments. Because the government, no, whether the local government or the BIR, no, actually pati Bureau of Customs, pwedeng magkaroon ng post-entry audit, right? Kaya siya deficiency tax assessment because the government, when they check our payments, nakita nila na kulang. So they made their own computation and di ba sabi natin, assessment is the manner of determining how much is the tax liability of a taxpayer. So when the government did their own computation, they have determined that the tax liability of the taxpayer is actually higher than what was paid. Kaya nag-issue ng deficiency tax assessment, di ba? Para mabayaran ni taxpayer yung kulang niya. So, particularly for real property taxes, ang tanong, when is an assessment made? Kailan na-determine yung tax liability ng taxpayer? It is actually made pursuant to sections 215 to 225. Di ba remember ang sabi natin, yung fundamental principles apply to appraisal, assessment, levy, and collection. So who does the assessment here? The assessment for real property taxes is actually made by the local assessor or the local government unit in general. And they do this pursuant to or following the provisions of sections 215 to 225. Diba? For example, when we are going to pay our real property taxes every year, anong ginagawa natin? Punta lang tayo sa munisipyo, sa City Hall, right? Or sa Kapitolyo. And then, we just say ano yung property ID natin or we present natin ano yung lumang assessment form, right? And then, anong mangyayari? They will just print it out. Ito na yung babayaran mo. That is already the procedure of assessment. Wala kang gagawin, but just to ask for the assessment already made by the LGU, right? So back to collection. O, dito na tayo sa collection. What is the remedy of the government when it comes to collection? And the reglement or the prescriptive period is counted from when? Sabi sa section 270, the basic real property tax and any other tax levied under the RPT or the real property tax sections shall be collected within 5 years from the date they become due, which is March 31 of each year. No action for the collection of tax, whether administrative or judicial, shall be instituted after the expiration of the 5-year period. So 5 years lang ang collection. Okay? And counted yan from the date they become due. So similar to our example in the local tax video na sana panoorin nyo din, di ba? Can the local government still collect real property taxes pertaining to 2019? The answer is no more. Kasi yung sa 2019 that already prescribed last March 31, 2024. So it's only for 2020 onwards. Yun na lang ang pwedeng kolektahin ng LGU, right? But there's also the extraordinary prescriptive period of 10 years. If with fraud, 10 years from the discovery of fraud or intent to evade payment ang mag-a-apply sa prescriptive period for collection. Okay? So, assuming na meron kang assessment for deficiency, real property taxes. Nagkaroon ka ng kulang sa real property taxes. Anong gagawin mo? How can you protest? Right? So take note, under section 252, there is a requirement to pay under protest first. No protest shall be entertained unless the taxpayer first pays the tax. It must be noted also that this payment under protest, this concept only applies to real property taxes. It does not apply to internal revenue taxes under the tax code. Neither does it apply to local taxes under the previous title. So, ano lang ang applicability ng payment under protest? Only for real property taxes. So, ano bang importance ng payment under protest? Kasi it is the payment that will trigger the running of the 30-day period. Tingnan natin yung second sentence. The protest in writing must be filed within 30 days from the payment of tax to the provincial, city, or municipal treasurer. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, no payment, hindi tatakbo yung 30 days mo to protest. So, dapat bayad muna. Tapos, susulat mo, i-annotate mo doon sa tax receipt, paid under protest. Tapos, your 30 days within which to file your actual protest will already start to run. The local treasurer must decide on the protest within 60 days from receipt. Okay? Next, kailan hindi applicable itong payment under protest rule? Take note, when it's the validity or the legality of a tax ordinance that is being questioned, the rule that real property taxes must first be paid before a protest is lodged does not apply. Diba, hindi mo naman kini-question na kulang yung binayaran mong, kulang yung taxes na binayaran mo. Hindi yun yung iyong kini-question. What you are questioning is actually the validity or the legality of the ordinance imposing the real property taxes. So, when does the payment under protest principle apply? Sabi sa case ng Ala versus Uy, no, 2017 case, taxpayers must first receive an assessment before this rule is triggered. Okay, so dapat may ganun muna. Okay, what is this? Before we go to assessments and refunds, first let's clarify, ano ba ang jurisdiction talaga ng LBAA and CBAA? Ano, saan ba sila papasok? Take note, LBAA and CBAA generally has concerns on matters regarding real property taxes lang. Appeal to the LBAA and CBAA may be had in 4 cases. Okay? So, ako guys, pag nag-check ako ng mga exams ng aking students, kung ang tanong ay pertaining to internal revenue taxes or local taxes, tapos may nakita akong LBAA at CBAA, ay nako, alam ko nang nalito na ang student because LBAA and CBAA jurisdiction only concern real property taxes. So pupunta ka lang sa Local Board of Assessment Appeals at sa Central Board of Assessment Appeals kapag real property taxes ang issue. So ano yung mga cases na pwede nating iakyat sa LBAA at CBAA? Number 1, when an assessment, you want to protest an assessment of the local assessor under Section 226. Remember, sabi natin kanina, the local assessor makes the assessment pursuant to sections 215 to 225. Right? So kung hindi ka agree doon sa assessment level na ginawa ng assessor, hindi pa niya sinasabing kulang yung binayaran mo or what, this is just the manner of determining how much real property taxes is actually payable for your real property. Kung hindi ka agree doon sa kanyang assessment na ginawa, no, you can actually elevate the case to the LBAA and CBAA, right? Next, under Section 244, if you want to protest a special levy. What is a special levy? No? Remember, under distinguishing taxes from other forms of exactions, usually taxes are compared to special assessments. Yun na rin yung special levy. The definition of a special levy is found under Section 240 of the Local Government Code. Ano ba yun? Sabi dito sa 240, a province, city, or municipality may make a special levy on the lands comprised within its territorial jurisdiction. Ano ba yung special levy? Especially benefited by public works projects or improvements funded by the local government unit concerned. So for example, no, dating inner road or inner lots, no, puro lang sila palayan. Tapos nagpatayo ang local government or nagpagawa ang local government ng mga kalsada. Take note guys, mas mataas ang value ng lots adjacent to roads, what we call road lots, versus inner lots, or yung lots na walang road na adjacent to it. So, ibig sabihin, by the fact na nagpagawa ang local government ng roads, tataas ang value ng mga properties na dadaanan niya. So, if a property is benefited by the public works or improvements funded by the local government, pwede siyang mag-impose ng special levy. Kung gusto mong mag-protest, ang akyat mo ay sa LBAA at CBAA. Alright? Next is, yun nga, if you paid under protest under Section 252, which we discussed earlier. And then the last case is regarding the repayment of excessive collection. It's a fancy term for what we call a refund. Kasi nga, gusto mong i-repay sa'yo yung excessive na nakolekta ng LGU. And this remedy is provided for under Section 253 of the Local Government Code. So, for this purpose, for purposes of reviewing for the 2024 bar, we will just focus on 252 and 253. Now, if you want to read more about 226 and 244, you may do so. Pero yung next two slides will only focus on 252 and 253. Right? So, ano ang procedure pag nagbayad na tayo under protest? No? Under Section 252, we must pay the deficiency real property tax first under protest. Second, remember we mentioned earlier that the treasurer must decide on the protest within 60 days from receipt. And then, what happens next? In Section 226 and 229, kasi may reference to these previous sections, kung nag-lapse ang 60-day period without the treasurer deciding on your case, or natanggap mo na yung decision on the protest and dininay ni local treasurer yung iyong protest, what happens next? You may appeal, the taxpayer may appeal to the LBAA within 60 days, and the case needs to be decided within 120 days. That's the rule. Under Section 229, if the taxpayer is not satisfied with the decision of the LBAA, appeal to the CBAA may be made within 30 days from receipt of the copy of the decision of the LBAA. So, dapat matanggap mo yung decision ng LBAA bago ka pwedeng mag-elevate sa CBAA within 30 days from receipt. After the CBAA, saan ang punta? This is interesting, guys. Because the CBAA is already exercising appellate jurisdiction, di ba? Within 15 days from the receipt of the decision of the CBAA, the taxpayer may appeal to the CTAN Bank. Hindi division ha, may appeal to the CTAN Bank by way of petition for review. Okay? So, take note yung ibang mga remedies natin, 30 days to elevate to the CPA. But particularly for real property tax, 15 days lang from CBAA to CTA. So, kapag na-receive mo yung decision ng CBAA, you have 15 days to elevate the case to the CTAN Bank via petition for review. Right? Paano naman kung refund? What is a refund? Under Section 253, it covers repayment of excessive collections. The taxpayer concerned may file a written claim for refund or credit for taxes and interest, pati interest, with the local treasurer within 2 years from the date the taxpayer is entitled to reduction or adjustment. So, 2 years ang prescriptive period. Ang tanong, lagi nating ine-emphasize, kailan ang simula ng prescriptive period? The 2 years here is counted from the date the taxpayer is entitled to the reduction or adjustment. Similarly, the treasurer is given 60 days to decide. Okay? Tapos, similar to our discussion under 226, 229, aakyat na naman tayo sa LBAA at CBAA using the same periods. Pareho lang. Kung hindi na-decide si treasurer within 60 days or denied ang iyong protest, the taxpayer may appeal to the LBAA within 60 days, and the LBAA needs to decide within 120 days. If the LBAA denies the protest or the decision of the LBAA is not satisfactory to the taxpayer may appeal to the CBAA within 30 days from the receipt of a copy of the decision. There is no provision as to the lapse of the 120 days, ha? Take note, it's the receipt of the decision that will trigger the running of the 30-day period within which to elevate the case to the CBAA, right? To the CBAA. And then kung hindi ka pa rin satisfied sa decision ng CBAA, within 15 days from the receipt of the decision of the CBAA, the taxpayer concerned may appeal to the CTA and bank via petition for review. All right? So that ends our discussion on real property taxes. Again, thank you for finishing this video lecture. Best of luck in the bar exams. I am Dean Rocky Duhungco. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is at @WhatRockyThinks. And if you have questions or comments on how to make this channel better, please write your comments below. Thank you guys, and God bless.